Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode in my new series of relearning StarCraft 2. This episode, Protoss, my absolute favorite race to play. Unfortunately, I haven't hit Masters on them. That is the goal for the end of the year. This is a video where you can do all the backseat gaming you want. Be sure to post down below in the comments anything that I should do, anything I can improve on, builds you want me to try, playstyles, absolutely anything. Go crazy with it. Without further ado, we have 3 replays here, 1 versus each race. Without further ado, let's hop right into Protoss versus Terran. All right, our very first match, as promised, Protoss versus Terran. Mr. Llama in the blue, me in the red. Now, I will say, with these replays, every single video will include at least 1 win and 1 loss. This isn't going to be a series where I'm just sitting here being like, hey guys, I won 3 games. Let's look at my 3 wins. No, this series is about improvement, so I want to show both my wins and my losses. And I'm usually not going to show wins that are like really dominant because I want to show wins that have flaws so that you guys can give comments on how I can improve. So right off the bat, how I usually like to play Protoss versus Terran, my very go-to matchup is, my comp is Charge Lot Archon with Storm. I get very early Storm. I'm talking like once my second base is established, before it's even fully saturated, I'm ripping a Templar Archives and I'm researching Storm. I just think it's one of the most safe builds. I don't really like using Colossus too much, so I usually stay away from that. But I usually don't have a problem with Protoss vs Terran. It is my best matchup out of all 3 races, all 9 matchups. Protoss vs Terran is my best. It's not even close. Ironically, I'd say my third best matchup is Terran versus Protoss. So I actually really like this matchup on both sides. It's just a lot stressful as Terran, I will say. So we are going to speed this up a bit. Usually I like going for my gateway. I get my second gateway when I get the money, and then right to Cybernetics Core. That way, when this is up, I can get double Stalker. It does delay the expansion a little bit, but I found it's just way safer. Especially, I've won so many games where people will go like proxy Reaper and I'll have like 5 Reapers in my base, but then I have 3 Stalkers and it just falls apart. It's just a very safe build, but it does delay the expansion a little bit, which is something kind of how I like to play. You can see I put a Stalker on each side, so wherever the Reaper wants to come, he can't really do much. See, he'll come up, and then he'll go around, and I'm able to catch it with this Stalker after a while. And yes, I do use the Total Biscuit Announcer. It is the right one to use. I am sorry, it's just fact.
Research complete.
Indeed it is. So I do go here. Now, one of my biggest weaknesses in Protoss versus Terran is anything that comes from the sky. Medivacs with Widow Mines, Banshees, Liberators, any of that stuff, I'm just not good at playing against. So I like the very standard game play, and you'll see that in all 3 of my matches. If you do check out my other videos, all that will be linked both down below and at the end of this video. If you do want to see me play Terran and Zerg, all those videos are there. Every single week I'll be uploading this video, so know that I'm playing ladder games constantly. My goal is to hit Masters as all 3 races. I've done Diamond as all 3. I got Masters as Zerg. I haven't done the other 2. So right away I go up to my third base. I found, especially as Protoss, it's very easy to take an early third just because your workers are always mining. Like, they can just drop stuff and go back, whereas Terran, they're standing there and mining. And Zerg, you lose your workers. So I will say the story of this one, this Terran plays the same way I like to play. The exact same way. I like to play TVP by basically just sniping bases. If you guys have watched Polt, that's how I like to play. You just go in, you snipe third bases, and you forget about everything else. That's exactly how I like to play. Now, when I do play, I do get multiple observers. Observer, ironically, is one of my favorite units. I absolutely love it. I like getting multiple of them and like sending them all over the map. So you see, I already have I got my Storm coming. I got a lot of gateways. I always have probes going. And here I want to push out because I know he denied my third and I don't want him to have his third. So that's kind of my logic here. He does have a super early beacon, his sensor tower, so I'm able to nuke that. I see the Liberators. I don't see a third base. So this is something where I'm like, okay, either he has a hidden base or he has a big army. Now, normally what a normal person would do was send stuff to the side bases to see if there's anything. But no, I'm like, well, I'm here anyway. I got an army. We might as well fight. So what I do is I pick up my Zealots, I bring them to the main base, and I just drop them. This isn't supposed to do an insane amount of damage. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is just draw his army back in. So I'm able to warp everything in. Unfortunately, it gets canceled, but he leaves everything Oh god, I just send everything in. Oh, that's so rough. But I am able to get storms down, and we just absolutely carpet bomb the mineral line. Now, at this point, I'm not too worried about this army. Looking at the workers killed, I did kill 21 workers with that. And you can see he's not happy about that. Easy race, he says. So he's not happy with that. We're looking at the harvesters. I am 24 ahead of him, 26. So I'm feeling good now, but I am on the defensive right now. I still have my observer, and I see he planted his third, but with how many workers I killed, I'm not too worried. So right now, I'm just focused. I just warp in some Archons, get that. I'm a little bit worried, but not too much, just because I do have a lot of warp-ins, and yes, he is going to kill my third base. We're going to count how many times this third base dies. Spoiler, it's a lot. Now, I didn't play a lot of these fights well. I did not play around the Liberators well at all. But you know what? We did get some storms. We go out, and yeah, I'm just not realizing what's going on here. I have a lot of minerals banked up. Thankfully, it helps me. I can rebuild everything. Now, one of my biggest weaknesses, one, I didn't get any upgrades. This was pretty bad. I'm still sitting on 0, whereas my opponent, I'm not sure if he has any upgrades either, but irregardless, I should have that. Also, I have no static defense. I know that he has Liberators. He has bio with Medivacs, and I'm being punished for it right now. So right here, I have a decision. I can either take the recall home right away, or I can do some damage. So I decide before I recall, I'm going to let my buildings here be kind of a wall that he has to. It's like a campaign mission where you have to win the game before they break through. So I'm able to clear up his base. I grab all my stuff and I go right back home. Now, unfortunately, I have a base here. I have a third base. This is now the third one that will be killed. Unfortunately, this third base goes down again. And that is now the third time that has been killed. I drop another one, I call it a day. But I was able with that attack to not only kill his third base, but also make him lift off here. So for a bit, I put him down on one base. Now, he does have another one. Thankfully, that was supposed to be his fourth base, but I was able to kill that, so he had to use his fourth base as his third base. So we're feeling good still. We go back in, drop everything, and this is the advantage of playing Storm Charge Lot Archon, is you can just kind of A-move it and go back to building stuff again. So I'm able to go in, kill all this. All these mules freshly dropped just got absolutely obliterated, and we're up to 31 workers killed right now, and he hasn't been able to recover. We're still 10 ahead. This observer is just living life. I wish there was a little thing here that says how long they've been stationary. So I got my third base up. We're feeling good. I finally got 1-1, but I feel like the biggest mistakes this game is I needed a lot more gateways. You can see I'm pooling a lot of minerals, and also my upgrades are just really bad. Now, I am going up to Colossus, because at this point, I see he has a lot of ghosts. So I know that he's building up a lot of those to deal with my High Templar. So if I just keep going Archon and Charge Lot and High Templar, a couple EMPs are going to completely nullify my army. Now, we both have 1-1. Realistically, both of us should be on at least 2-2. And right now, the only reason I'm pushing out, I'm not actually looking to be aggressive. What I'm looking for is to defend my bases so that they can actually get saturated before I move out, because I just want to build up my death ball and go. I have my 4 bases. My upgrades are getting pretty bad, but I am doing a better job at spending my money. I just needed to actually build up some of this. Maybe it's because I'm building multiple Colossus at a time, but thankfully I'm actually able to build. And another thing is, once again, my 4 bases, the amount of workers killed in this game is an absolute tragedy. So I might be able to clear this again, and unfortunately his probes, his SCVs go over here, so they have nothing to defend them. And we're able to storm everything. At this point, it's a bit of a base race. And yeah, I'm not saying that this base is going to die for the 4th time, but it's definitely going to die for the 4th time. I do recall. I am able to get that back. Recall is just an insane OP ability. Looking at the workers killed, we are sitting at 102 combined workers killed. Not a good game to be a worker. But we are able to continue going. We rip through his bases, so I know he's on 1 base at this point. Actually, I don't know it because I haven't scouted everywhere on the map. He does have a lot of idle SCVs, but I actually haven't scouted anywhere. Realistically, I should have sent a zealot somewhere all over the place to try to find them. I believe I do find these workers, though. Yeah, this is where I start going over the map, trying to find out where he is, because right now, if he is on 1 base, literally all I have to do is keep this base alive, and I'm good. You see, I am on a lot of gas. Now, I will say the advantage of going High Templar if you're not the best at macro like me, and you go High Templar and you're sitting on a bunch of gas, well, it's 150 gas for a High Templar and 50 for a mineral. 50 minerals for one. So you can just warp in like 15 High Templars and absolutely get rid of all your gas. This was an okay trade. I realized this game, I just didn't care about the Liberators. I just kind of jumped in and hoped for the best. So I know right here he's probably going, yeah. I can see why you cheese. Note that I was not the first person to attack this game. He attacked first, and then I just counterattacked at the 9 minute mark, I believe. So I don't know what I think he's talking about Storm, but I don't think Storm's that big of a cheese. But we do end up pulling out this game, just constant back and forth attacks. Looking at the workers killed, yeah, we're looking at about, what, 131 workers killed? That is insane. Let's check the APM, people like that. I'm sitting at 149, but if we go to effective APM, I'm even lower, 121. But that's a game I felt okay about. I didn't like the fact that I was floating a lot of minerals at certain times. I didn't like that I didn't have my upgrades going. And I feel like I could have ended this game a lot better, faster, if I just had like built random pylons so I could see where he was. Because a lot of the stuff I lost in this game was because I didn't have proper scouting out on the map. But we are going to hop right back into PVZ. All right, so this game we're up against Zeluchi, the red Zerg, and me, the blue Protoss. So PVZ is probably one of my absolute favorite matchups. So the main reason I like it is because Protoss in general just has a lot of unique builds you can do. And also, I'm not the best at that. But you also get to do things like that, whereas a Zerg, I got punished by that so often. So we see here he does the hatchery first, and I don't want to overreact to this, because I'm pretty sure I already saw him put down this one. So I'm not too worried about this. I know he's probably either going to cancel it or he won't be able to build much out of it. So I basically just stick with the one Zealot. I opened very standard. And I know since he did 2 hatcheries right away, he's not going to have the required money to do anything too aggressive. So I knew that one Zealot. I didn't have to make another one. And I do I go the Stargate opening. Now what I do, I have one all-in. So basically, since I've recently come back to the game, I play very standard. I play very just normal, build an economy, build a big army, rely on my macro. Because I don't know a lot of the modern builds, right? And I don't know my timings of a lot of my all-ins. But with Protoss versus Zerg, I have one all-in I do. So basically, I come out with my first Void Ray. And what I'm going to do with this guy is, well, I already have one out on the map. I just shift A-move him all over the map. So basically, if he finds any Overlords, he's going to kill all of them. So we see he does find the first one. We kill that, and that actually supply blocks the Zerg for a little bit. So what that does is it gives me that safety versus Zerg all-ins, but it also makes it so I can kill Overlord so he can't drop like Nidus Worms or anything. So it's actually really good. So basically, with this build, I get Charge Lot Zealots, I get +1 weapons on my ground, and +1 weapons on my air. I don't take my second gas. You see, it gets pretty tight, but I don't really need it too much. I wall off at home, I get a Warp Prism. So basically, to recap, I got Charge Zealots, +1 weapons on both Void Rays and Zealots. I got a Warp Prism, and I got 6 gateways. Sorry, 7 gateways. So I have Void Rays continuously being pumped out, 7 gateways, charge lots, +1 on everything. This hits around the 7-minute mark, and it does a lot. So basically, if they just mass roaches like a lot of people do, the Void Rays just feast. But if they win a lot of Queens or Hydras or stuff like that, then the Zealots just run uncontested. It's a really good combo that I used back in Heart of the Swarm, and I've gotten more used to using it. Basically, I only do it once every, like, third Protoss versus Zerg, because I have done it enough now where I'm very confident in the build. There's not much more I can improve too much on it. And so you get a big mineral dump eventually. I'm able to warp in all these, and he is going Hydras. But right now, like, we're going to pause here and we're going to look at the unit count. So the unit count for him is he has 15 Zerglings, 6 Hydralisks, 1 Baneling, 7 Queens. So he did go very Queen heavy. Now he does have 10 Banelings on the way as well. For me, I have 25 Zealots after a fresh Warpin and 5 Void Rays. Now, looking at the production tab, my +1 weapon is going to kick in right now. He does have +2 coming in, but he doesn't have much. And that's the joys of this build, is it really punishes greedy play. So right now, he didn't build any units. He went right up to a bunch of drones. Like, he went up to 70 drones. I killed some earlier. And so he didn't build an army. So I sniped the layer, and right now, I'm just focused on killing stuff. So right now, you'll see Hydras are the only... Hydras and Queens, yeah, they're killing my Void Arrays, but there's a lot of charged Zealots, and I get a really big warp in, micro back the other ones. And this is just a really strong timing attack. But like I said, I don't do it too much, because I've learned the build, I feel confident in it, I just don't feel like doing it constantly. It will actually help me improve. This one, I feel like I played it pretty cleanly. I feel like behind this, I could either take gases, add on another Stargate, or just go right into a 4th base. But I feel like in this game, I noticed I had the kill, so I didn't really have to macro at home. But I guess the practice would be decent. One thing is the Vespian. I feel like I don't... Once I move out, I could probably take guys off gas, and you'll even see I'm oversaturated here. So yeah, I feel like taking the 3rd base would have been good, because let's say I can only kill this base, and he barely holds here. At least then I'm on 3 base versus 2 base, and I can just build up. But that is my Protoss versus Zerg. Feeling good about that one. The last one, we're going to hop into Protoss versus Protoss. All right, for our last game, we are against the Red Protoss Dark. So PvP, in general, a lot of mirror matchups people really don't like. But since Wings of Liberty, Protoss versus Protoss has been one of my favorite mirror matchups. I feel like it's just a really fun matchup to me, because it doesn't have the boring 1-unit spam that ZVZ has. It doesn't have the tank boringness. Okay, I have to show you guys this. So, of all the things to work on, this might be one of them. I must say, I want you guys to watch my Nexus. Just keep an eye on the Nexus here. Yeah, I recalled all my probes instead of chrono boosting. We can chalk that up to something I need to improve on. I feel like that goes in the improved category. So in Protoss vs. Protoss, like I was saying, it's my favorite mirror matchup. It doesn't have the long, drawn-out boringness that TVT does. It doesn't have the 1 to 2 unit spam that ZVZ has. You can kind of build a lot of different things. Like, there's very unique stuff you can do, and that's one thing I really like about Protoss in general, is the fact that there are so many unique strategies, because a lot of their units are so unique and do so many different things. They don't really have, like, one unit that just does absolutely everything that the other races do. So that's one thing I really like. Protoss, the players get rewarded the more knowledge they have and more builds they have at their repertoire. It's kind of like playing Pokemon. If you have 3 Pokemon available to you versus having 20 Pokemon available to you, you just have more options. And that's the way I look at Protoss. So I go the 2-gate right away, and after that I go right into Robo. The basic style I like to go is I get Stalkers early. That'll help versus any Adepts. It'll help versus All-In, stuff like that. And then I go right into Gateways and a Robo. So this Robo opening actually comes more from Wings of Liberty. For those that played PvP, getting those early Immortals is just so strong. But I saw that Buddy was coming in, so I decided to just warp in stuff. He comes in with an early warp prism. So he's actually on 1 base right now. But I know I need to hold this. I bring the probes out and have them tank, and then thankfully, he misses a lot of pickups, and I'm able to push this back. But the unfortunate part is, yes, it's 2 base versus 1 base, and realistically, I am at a big advantage here, and I know that, because I see that. Well, one, I see that he just started his base, but also you can't do a build like that and also have an expansion behind that. You have to build the Robo, you have to build the Warp Prism that costs 250 minerals. Like, it's a big investment to do all that. So I knew that he didn't have 2 bases. So my goal is basically just go up to 3 bases and get as many probes out as possible. But you see, he's going for a Dark Shrine. I didn't know this at the time because I actually didn't scout. I was so worried about more Stalkers that I was just making Immortals. But I feel like after defending a push like that, there's no reason to overextend and spend too much money on stuff you don't need. Like, I probably should have been building Observers here, at least 2. But yeah, you'll see the DTs come in and just start wreaking havoc on me. So right now he's killed 26 workers, and that is rough. So even though I got that big advantage, he also gets Adepts in. This guy did a really good job at harassing me. Like, my probes got absolutely annihilated, and basically the advantage that I got early in the game was completely nullified from what he just did there. So if we look at everyone, I am 1 base ahead of him. So that's one of the advantages I have. But right now, looking at the worker count, I'm half of what he is. So we're going to see how I reply here. So I have my Templar Archives going down because I want to get Archons. Archons are just real. They're probably my second favorite Protoss unit. My favorite is absolutely Charge Lot. If I could play Charge Lot forever, I would. It's my favorite unit. I feel like it just does so much and it counters a lot because a lot of people can't micro versus it properly. So we do have our 3 bases. We got probes coming out. We're feeling good. Now, one thing, again, no upgrades. This is something that I struggle a lot with Protoss in any of my matchups. I just feel like I spend money on so many things, but I always skimp on the upgrades. And that's something that really hurts me in a lot of games, is I need to start upgrading more. Even if it's just a thing where it's like, it might not feel the best, I just have to get used to it. So I might just, in a couple of my few games coming up, just force myself to get 1-1, even if I miss out on units, just so like I can get more used to like getting the forges, getting the upgrades. Because right now, you see, he has 1-1-1 on the way. And I have absolutely nothing. So he comes in here with more DTs. He was able to snipe a couple more workers. He's at 40 workers killed. I did even up the worker count. We are on 3 bases, but I was able to pull it back because I was very far behind I was half his workers, but I was faster on expanding than him. So I did have that going for me. And then right now I'm just terrified, and we are about to see the most cursed move out ever. So I'm like, you know what? I got a bunch of Archons. I got charge lots. You know what? I'm going to fight this guy. But if you noticed, the last time I scouted was with the probe. I still don't have an observer, and I feel like this is something I need to be building, like 2 to 3 observers. One for my base with the DTs, one to have at his base, and one just rotating around the map. So you see, I get to his base. I'm like, oh, sweet. Nobody's here. Oh, no. He has an army. We basically have the same thing. Like, he's slightly ahead. But I feel like if I just chilled, I do warp some stuff back home because my plan is like, oh, I got to get home to defend. I don't like base trading. It's stressful. I don't like it. But sending half my stuff home just wasn't the answer. It wasn't something that was ever going to work. So he does overwhelm me here. Unfortunately, I dropped this one. But even in a loss, I had a lot of fun in this match. This is a really good back and forth match where I feel like we both played well and we both did things that in other games probably would have won us the game. And in this case, it did win him the game. So I ripped the GG. I drop out, and that is going to be the end of this video. If you do like this content, I'll be putting out content like this every single week. Be sure to subscribe. If you need some tips, if you want to give me some tips, throw those in the comment down below. And I will also have my Twitch in the description if you want to come watch me live. Say hi. We'll play some team games. Just be sure to stop by. Godspeed. Stay safe. I will see you guys next week.